Would you say that I'm tall or wide?
Well, the way that you described it is you're tall and gangly almost because you're sort of this, as we just said, um, almost a giant greyhound standing upright.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Greyhounds are very gangly.
So,
So they would be
in
very
terms of
tall
cover,
and
I don't think it
long
would
limbs
be.
and stuff.
I don't think it would be the +4 cover. I'm pretty sure it'd be the +2 cover. Mostly because, well, it's chest high, so maybe if I'm like,
So I was going to say that it was entrenched for everyone else
yeah,
because there's this big surgical metal table in between that is they can certainly get behind it or duck behind it.
yeah, I wouldn't say it's entrenched. I wouldn't say it's.
So
entrenched.
you are at heavy cover then, is what I'm going to say, at
Yeah.
4 defense because you're so big. It can't be entrenched for you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't affect your attack against him. We're just taking care of that now.
Yep.
All right. So
So let's just. All right. So +3.
all right. So you get a couple 6s, which means you can take the 6 and do a critical hit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you definitely hit because his defense is only like 13. So you hit. And then you also want to, I assume you want to crit.
Deals critical damage minus target's armor to random roll. Roll d6 attribute. Do I get to do that twice, or is it only once? It's only the one, yeah, because you've got.
I think just having 1 6 lets you do it once. I
Yeah.
could be wrong about that.
No,
but,
because
like,
you're only hit once, so
Yeah,
you
you only
only
hit
you only
once.
apply damage once, sort of thing. So.
Right. I think that. Yep. That's my understanding anyway.
Yeah. So let's do that. I'll
Now-
roll another d6 then to work out where it hits.
Hold on a second. That may be irrelevant. I need to bring up the SMG list again.
It may be.
The SMG has a crit of 3.
Yep.
And this a Mechanid Disciple is a skilled opponent which has which automatically has an armor of 3. So you can't actually crit him with an SMG
Okay.
unless the chemical thing does something.
So there's a critical boost here,
Uh-huh.
which is another strong hit that I can choose from. It says +1 critical damage for this attack versus all targets with 0 endurance. But I'm not sure about the endurance.
Can you do the critical boost and the critical hit at the same time since you have 2 6s?
I don't know. I'm going to say no. I'm pretty sure it's one hit, right? So you get to pick one strong hit.
So then you would have to do critical boost this turn, and then next turn, if you crit again,
Yeah.
you
Deal
would
your
then-
deal your weapons critical damage minus target's armor. Okay, so critical hit minus target's armor to random roll. Okay, so if I did the critical hit to him, it would just be fucking.
because it only has a crit damage of 3, and a skilled opponent has a native armor of 3.
Yeah. All right. So. Okay, that's interesting. Like, so that basically means I can't do any damage to him at all.
Well, you just did a bunch of endurance damage to him.
So that still counts.
Yeah.
All right. So let me roll. Let me roll the. That doesn't matter then. So let me roll the damage then. Wait, no, the damage. It's a chemical based weapon. So pretty sure that means that it has splash damage on it. It's the spore weapon. So
Okay. There's nothing else to hit really.
yeah.
I mean, I suppose you could hit the thing that he wrote in on.
I don't know. I don't know what the splash actually does. Does it apply the same damage to the other things around it, or like?
Well, we determined how to determine what direction splash happens in.
Okay, so critical boost only works with targets with 0 endurance. Okay, yeah. All right.
Oh, critical boost only works with targets with 0 endurance. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna go with we'll just do the endurance damage and that's it.
Okay then.
Which is 4. So.
You do 4 endurance damage.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm keeping
So
track
then
of that.
I'm going to attack again.
Can you attack twice in one turn?
You can. Yes.
You can do 2. You can do 2 attack actions, but
You can
attack,
2 actions. Yeah. So you
Okay,
can do
you
like
can attack twice.
a move attack, So let's see. You can do a snapshot, which is a move and attack. You can do a spray fire, which I did last turn, which is hit plus perception plus rate of fire, and move -2. Or you can do sighted shot, which is hit. You hit die plus perception plus range.
All right, so you are attacking again.
Yeah, I'll attack again. Yeah.
All right, attack again.
Where is my other die? There it is. 21.
Yeah, that's enough to hit him.
With another critical, but it doesn't matter. Geez, these armors are pretty tough. I can see why you'd need armor now, because I've rolled 2d6 straight up.
Crit's going to happen all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so... Yeah, so that I've used 6 bullets, so I have 1 more full auto shot in my clip. And that is another 4 endurance damage to him.
Yep, and I'm keeping track of that.
Cool.
We're now going to segue into his turn. As you would.
Yep.
As you would do.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going to... first of all, it doesn't seem like he's totally cognizant of you, even as you're shooting him. He sort of seems to be focused on something else, even as the bullets ping off of his metal exterior and even clip some of what appears to be important things inside of his machinations. But after you're done shooting, he then sort of quirks his head in your direction. His sort of, I would describe his head as muzzle-like, his muzzle-like head.
Okay. Like a dog?
Yeah, like a dog. And he first moves his move score of 3. He is not deliberately heading directly towards you. It does look like he's sort of circling you.
Okay, so you know how the cover works. It's 90 degrees out from whatever direction I'm facing. So if he goes one more diagonally to the left, then down, he'll be able to hit me from outside of my cover, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So he moves 1, and then he's going to attack you.
Okay. So I'm still in cover then by where he is right now.
Yep. So he has a strange. He sort of lifts one of his limbs. As you can see from the picture, when they have a weapon, it's not something that's held in a hand. It's simply there in place of their limb.
Yeah.
And he levels something at you that doesn't quite look like a gun that you're aware of any kind.
Okay.
It almost looks more like a tool. It almost looks more like some kind of something that you might see in some vehicle bay of some kind for repairing vehicles or soldering metal or something. It's quite over the top. It looks very dirty and worn and even rusted in places.
Yeah.
And he'll level that at you. And I'm going to make this. I'm going to make rolls, secret GM rolls. No offense to anybody.
Just realized I spelled my name wrong on the fucking sheet, so I'm changing it.
Good job.
Your own
Now,
name.
let's talk about your defense rating right now.
Okay.
It's 10 plus your reflexes plus your cover.
Yep.
And we determined that your cover is currently
+4.
+4. Mm-hmm. So what is your total defense?
That would be 18.
18. Good. You'll probably be pretty okay in this situation, I should imagine.
I would hope so.
And then you die.
Yeah. And then he died.
Yeah. He doesn't hit you.
Oh, that's nice.
Out of what appears to be the end of this whatever is attached to him. First you see a glow of light, of heat-like light. And then suddenly a very loud crackle fills the air. The smell of ozone fills your whatever nostril-like thing a Nephilim has.
I gave up smelling a long time ago.
And some kind of arc of energy cuts through the front half of the surgery table, as he in a sort of sickening line, like he isn't really aiming quite correctly. You can also smell the melting of metal of the surgery table. Like, it's definitely getting red hot and melting away, and it's just being sliced into by this beam of cackling energy. And with that, his turn is over as he misses. But we're not going to finish resolving combat with you.
Okay.
Because
more combat happening elsewhere.
Because there's more combat happening elsewhere. So, gents in the cargo bay, how's it going?
I don't know. How is it going?
I don't know. How is it going?
Depends on the situation.
Immediately after the captain cuts out, the line to the bridge goes dead somehow. You feel another thud into the ship, which is quickly followed. Talios, you didn't notice this since you were in the heat of combat. By 4 more thuds into the ship. Boom, 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 boom. All from different places that cause the ship to cackle, or crackle, or groan. That's more of a metal noise. Especially for you two, you immediately hear the rending of metal from 2 different directions in the cargo bay, and the sound of some sort of liquid spray filling some crevice somewhere. I should point out that the sound comes from the sort of northwest and from the south. And do you see the 2 types of crates that I've put into the cargo bay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The ones that look more metallic and sort of like a futuristic box, those are only chest high, so you can look over them. And having heard a sound from the northwest, I assume you do look over.
Mm-hmm.
And in the northwest corner of the cargo bay, you see, much as I described previously, the spine, the sort of metallic flower that is pierced through the floor of the cargo bay, in this instance, and opened up, and you see a Mechanid disciple, which again, everyone is aware of what those look like. If you want to make the culture check that Talios made in order to see that it's weird that they're red, either of you can make that if you so choose. I mean, you just have to make the roll, pass or fail.
Can you say the skill one more time? What is it?
It's a culture skill. History,
well,
archaeology, that sort of thing.
That's not great.
Sorry, Cannon.
Hey, it's a robot.
And sorry, also Gifka, that is not sufficient to notice that. Well, Gifka, you do sort of say, there's something not right about this. Like, I've read plenty of security briefings about mechanids. There's something on the tip of your tongue about. I mean, it's obviously a mechanid. It's obviously boarding your ship. Something else is bothering you, but you sort of push it out of your mind because that's really not the relevant thing right now, is it?
Are mechanids sentient?
That's more of a philosophical question that really probably hasn't been answered or addressed in society yet at all. So I leave you to form your own opinions about the sentience of mechanids.
Can mechanids speak?
It doesn't say if they ever speak to people, but actually, no, it does. They don't. They definitely communicate amongst each other, and not through some sort of like Wi-Fi thing or anything. They're seen giving orders to each other, but communication with a mechanid is not something that I believe has happened in any situation.
Okay, so we know this is bad news. Is it possible that this is a misunderstanding?
No, mechanids don't do misunderstandings. Their only goal is to exterminate sentient life in the galaxy, as far as society at large is aware.
All right. So that's.
However, it doesn't seem to be exterminating sentient life. As you observe it, it seems to be scanning your cargo containers with what appears to be some sort of holographic laser thing that's popping out of its eye. It's scanning the dimensions and the labels of your cargo containers in that area. It doesn't seem to notice you. And I will remind you that you heard a similar sound from the south, which you can then put two and two together and presume that you have also been boarded in that direction as well.
All right. Well, I imagine I would make eye contact with Givka, and like I point to myself, and I point to the one in the north, and then I point to him, and I point to one in the south.
I'll nod.
All right, so you're gonna split up, and
I'll draw my gun, and I want to kind of crouch behind this container I'm next to, and I want to watch it, and then I'll I'll say, like, I'll mouth, like, on three. I do it like, is there any need for stealth?
there is a stealth combat skill. And,
yeah, but I mean, do mechanids, can they hear, or?
Yeah, they have all the same senses that people have.
Okay. Yeah, on three, we'll shoot together.
Now, I want to remind you that your gun has a range,
Yeah.
and you would be aware of that range, so you would also be aware of if you're making a difficult shot or not. I think from where you are right now, the mechanid is not in cover, I would say. Also, is that where you're going to stay? I've not given you control of your own tokens because it's really difficult to make that work.
Yeah.
So I will be moving you guys. So speaking of which, while Graham's eyeing him down the sights, where do you go, Gifka?
Where did I hear the sound from the other one?
The south, which is down. So on the other side of these boxes, perhaps.
Okay, well, I'll be heading in that direction, and I'll be using my melee weapon.
Okay. So you want to get, like, maybe about here? Are you crouching? Are you trying to be stealthy?
Yeah, trying to.
All right. So as you get there, you can sort of look over the boxes. Somewhat problematically, that's right where the elevators to the rest of the spine of the ship is. But through that, you can sort of make out that the robot is there, and that there has been a breach.
Okay.
You can see the spine, and you can see the glow from the robot. He's clearly over there.
Okay, so
Yeah, perfect sight
so
over those elevators.
so he's there. I'm gonna pick up one of the cards that I dropped, and I'm gonna attempt to flick it over in the far corner so the guy looks away from me.
Well,
Try to cause a diversion.
okay, that's quite a distance to throw a playing card, so that is going to have to be a skill check of some kind. Let me, it's probably going to be physical, but let me just double check the full list and make sure there isn't something more.
I mean, to be fair, he's probably been pretty bored for a very long time, so maybe throwing cards isn't that much of a stretch.
Yeah, I'll definitely give him the descriptive +2 bonus for having been throwing cards to occupy himself for so long.
Well,
I'm going to go with a physical skill. Well,
what about
unless
if you
wanna
scrunch it
argue
up or
that-
something like that? I mean, you can totally do that.
yeah, I'm thinking maybe it might be better to find like a piece of some kind of debris that I could throw instead. I was trying to use my reflex or something.
Yeah, but I mean, when we used reflexes earlier, I'm not sure we were supposed to. I think I should have called for physical.
I know that. I was trying to be
I think we might be wrong.
that kind of character.
Graham, are you open
I
to
mean,
a
if you want to
suggestion?
argue for any other thing,
What?
any other of the skills, go ahead.
Maybe even take a bullet out of your gun and throw that.
Well, you're not there.
I know, but I'm just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Graham. We're just trying to stumble through this first session together anyway, and learn some of these conventions and rules.
Forget the playing card. I'll make eye contact again, and I'll kind of I'll look at my eye. I'll point to my eye, and I'll point to his eyes, and I'll say, I'll mouth, like, do you see him? Is there another one?
I don't actually see anything, so I'll just shake my head no.
You do see the. I mean, you know he's there. You can see the
Okay.
light. You can see
Okay.
the spike. You don't have direct eye contact, but you're super certain that he is at least there.
Okay, well now that there is one there.
Okay, well, I'm going to... Okay, well, yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'll put up, like, 3 fingers, like, on 3.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'll begin to, and then I'll go, like, 2, and then 1, and then on 3, I'm going to somersault across this gap in front of the other box, and I'll pop up and I'll fire at it.
Yeah, you can move because it hasn't noticed you yet, pretty much for free.
Well,
You want
when
to
he
go over
does
here,
that,
right?
I'll
Am I right?
turn around as well.
This is what you're suggesting, right, Grant?
Yeah.
Okay, you're there.
Cool.
I'm going to say you have a. Yeah, I mean, he didn't notice you. Much like Talios wasn't noticed until he had finished shooting into the dude's face. You're going to definitely go first in this combat round.
Blam, 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 blam.
What?
Blam, 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 blam.
Yeah, you can go ahead and shoot, and then we'll resolve Gifka's action.
Okay, so this is, I've got here on my sheet the number 3, so that's 3 dice.
No, an attack roll is always 3 die. If you've got a hit, you go +3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And you have an SMG, right? So you can use a higher rate of fire. You can have more dice.
You can use up to 5 die if you wanted to, but every additional die you add, you take away 1 more bullet.
You already are using 1 bullet to shoot a period.
Yep. So you can
well,
use up to 3 bullets a turn, basically, in action.
So if I wanted to use all the dice?
Yeah, you'd use 5 die plus 3,
and
then you would take 3 bullets off your clip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that definitely hits. Luckily, you couldn't crit because you couldn't crit anyway. So at least you don't have the pain of what could have been in your heart. The bullets ping off of him. You do technically have another action still because I wouldn't consider that first move combat having started. Combat started when you shot him.
Okay.
So you have another action that you can take. You can move. You can attack again. Anything from the action list.
Let's see, action list. So that wasn't my turn, or that was my turn? That was part of it. You have 1 more action.
You get 2 actions every combat turn.
Yeah, but you said that first one didn't. That movement didn't count, right? Okay.
Movement didn't count, so you have another action. You can take any of the actions on the list of actions, and that can be your action.
Well, let's just keep shooting it, I guess.
So another spray fire then?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you do a snapshot, for example, which is a move and an attack, you don't get to add your perception or your rate of fire to it, but you do get to shoot 1 bullet. That's kind of the difference there. So if you wanted to move and attack, like say to the other box there for some reason, you'd use a snapshot.
Which you can definitely see. Also, you can see all of that.
If you use a spray fire, it's a -2 to the total number of spaces you can move.
Well, I'm not. I can see all that. Well, I'm not. I don't think I'm moving anywhere.
Okay.
You also know that that's the door to the passenger cabins up there.
Oh, that silver thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, fine.
He would know because he's been in the cargo bay before.
I know. I just wasn't showing it on the map. That's all. So.
Yeah. All right. So you attack again.
Yes, I do.
And you succeed with the hit. You hit because that's and you do the damage, which I have marked. Now that he's sort of engaged combat. Well, no.
Hang on. Were you counting
Yeah.
distance as well?
Because
it should
he hits
be
4 times no matter what.
1, 2, 3. So he should be -2 on each of those attacks as well.
Yeah, he's definitely going to land anyway.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. With 24 and 26, he's got almost no, because in my interpretation of the rules is, especially if you're at a cover like this where you're right up against it and it's chest high, if you shoot over it, that doesn't mean that your opponent has cover too.
No, I mean cover comes
even though
from
the
like
cover's
whether or
in
not
between
you
the
can
two of you.
whether or not you can see him. So if he can't see him when he goes to shoot him, then that's where the cover comes from.
Right, yeah. So, no, it definitely... So, yeah, the only thing that this Mechanid has going for him at this point is distance, and it is not assisting him in any way.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
well,
so
and
he takes
then
both hits. Congratulations.
I presume Gifka does something simultaneously.
Yeah, I actually want to, now that combat has begun, I actually want to determine Gifka's intelligence, just to see if he goes before your Mechanid.
Okay.
So Gifka, what's your intelligence score?
Are you muted?
You were muted.
No, I wasn't. I
you
didn't
weren't.
say anything yet.
Oh, okay.
Intelligence is 2.
Okay, so Graham's Mechanid actually goes before you. So, he's
So
going
I
to-
wouldn't get a move at the same time Graham moved?
You can move, but that whole thing is going to... now that combat has begun, we have to start to keep track of time. It's going to resolve. You can move before... how far do you... Well, where do you want to go?
Over here where I think the Mechanid would be.
All right, I'm going to let you get to here.
Okay.
Before his Mechanid acts. It probably won't matter because it looks like these two things are going to be separate anyway. But, just for the sake of argument, we're going to have the Mechanid move first. But I will describe what you see, which is you see a Mechanid disciple, and he is he's got some sort of... One of his limbs is some sort of tool, and it is shooting a beam of energy into one of your fuel storage containers, and it's cutting through the side slowly.
Okay.
That's what you see. But then we're going to resolve... First, we're going to resolve the action of this other Mechanid that's fighting Graham.
Who?
Cannon.
Oh.
And first it's going to... so as you were shooting it, it was sort of still just scanning the cargo. And it wasn't until you resolved shooting it completely that it sort of craned its muzzle-like head up to you, very similar to what happened with Talios, and is now going to begin to move to get you out of cover, and eventually shoot you in the face.
Let's see him try.
So he moves, he takes a move action, and then he's going to take an attack action, which will be a secret GM roll, as was previously happened. And what's your defense?
Versus what? Just defense?
Yeah, your defense is determined 10 plus reflex plus your cover, and you're in chest high plus 6 cover. So
Oh, plus 6. So altogether, defense is 20.
Whew.
Jesus criminy. Well, you have nothing to worry about. He levels his strange tool-like arm at you. You hear, you see it sort of heat up. You hear the crackle of the air as it burns in front of his attack. You smell ozone. A shaft of energy comes, and it would have hit you. It was well aimed, except it only burrows deep into this storage container, this metal box, and starts melting the side, which you can see as molten metal starts bubbling off of the edge. It's sort of hitting... it's sort of hitting like right here,
Yeah, I see it.
so you can
That's fine.
see where it hits and bubbles metal, but at the same time, it's definitely still in between you and it.
Oh no, and it was explosives.
It wasn't
No.
explosives.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh no,
Almost
it was
all of this is-
sewage.
Yeah.
Almost all of this stuff is stuff to supply and keep a colony functioning. So, tools, seeds, food, cloth, fabrics. Nothing is volatile in here except for the fuel containers for the ship, which, unfortunately, as we move over to Gifka, that's what you're dealing with. So, Gifka, your mechanid still has a higher int than you, but it hasn't noticed you.
Okay.
It's just burrowing into the fuel containers. So you do get to act first in this combat round.